Hi. So, what was your experience in the practicum? Did you have a good experience or
I did. It went down by 3.
by 3?
Yeah.
And
Started at
so
5.
that left it
It started at 5.
at
So-
5, down 3 to a 2.
Yeah.
Okay. And so would you like to start with a fresh one?
I can. Yeah.
Might as well. We're trying to impress everybody and do something that will feel
Yeah.
like it's means something to you.
Okay.
So
I
what are
can
you
start- Yeah,
thinking
let's
of?
start with a fresh one.
Okay. So what are you thinking of?
So you want the past one or the positive or the
Oh, you've already done the feeder, figured out what the feeder memory is?
Yeah.
I hate that. Okay, good. So you've got the feeder memory. What's the suds on each of them?
So the feeder memory would be a 2.
How long ago is it?
Grade 2.
Grade 2,
Long time ago.
7 years old.
8. Yeah, 7 or 8. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And the recent one, how recent is it?
It has to do with failure. So maybe it's not a good one because it is more recent and it's ongoing.
Yeah, well, I can hear from your voice that it's about a 7.
Yeah.
So something I haven't said is the definition of a feeder
Mhm.
is that it's what makes the recent memory more disturbing than it would otherwise be.
Mhm.
So if you got something that's a 2, there's no way it's making something as disturbing as a 7.
Okay.
So the feeder has to be at least as disturbing. So let's just look at the one that's a 2. It's a recent failure. And
No,
how
not the
That
2.
was
The one that's a
previous.
7.
a 7, I'm sorry. And how recent is it?
So I don't know if it's a good one because it's more ongoing. Right. So I'm in it, kind of.
That's okay. So let me just I'll say uncle if it doesn't
Okay.
seem like we can do it. But so it's ongoing, so it's repeating.
Yes. The
And
repeating of
so
doing the
a
thing.
repeating event always means there's a feeder. And that memory that's a 2 is either more than a 2 or it's not the feeder.
Okay.
So think of the recent, one of the recent experiences of failure.
Okay.
And what do you feel in your body when you think of it?
What I feel in my body, it's like tightness here, almost like a hollow throat. No, not hollow. It's like a lump.
A lump in your throat, bottom of your throat.
Yeah, very much.
Okay, good. And does that lump represent failure to you, or does it represent trying to hold it down?
Trying to hold it down.
Okay, so just think of the failure.
Okay.
And it's disturbing.
Very.
How do you know it's what's that?
Yes, very. It's like how do I know it's disturbing? Because I
Yeah.
have this thought, like you suck.
What's that?
Just
You
positive
suck?
beliefs. Like,
Negative thought about yourself. You suck.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, negative beliefs. How did you think you would ever do this?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So
Lots of-
are you sure you're not feeling this now in your chest?
Oh, yes, yes. In my body, lots of activation, heart's racing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Now, this particular sensation in your chest and
Mhm.
perhaps in your throat. I want you to just focus on it and let your mind float back to an early memory, the first one that comes to mind.
Oh, first one that was yeah, I've got it. Do you want me to tell you or?
Yeah, if you don't mind, you don't have to give me the details, but what
So
age are we talking about?
it was, I would
Four.
say 28 maybe.
Ah,
So it
28.
wasn't- Yeah,
And how disturbing is that memory?
very.
8?
Yeah, like,
More.
yeah, like I was,
Okay,
yeah, it's more, yeah.
8 or 9.
Mhm,
Okay. Now, when it happened,
mhm.
did you feel sort of blindsided, like, whoo, didn't see that coming, unfamiliar? Hmm?
Yeah, just disbelief and shock.
Yeah, okay, good. So that sort of suggests that it was a new experience, that
Mhm,
kind of thing hadn't happened before.
mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
I thought it was linked
And
to something else, but it's not, obviously.
what's that?
I just thought it was linked to something else, but it's obviously not.
Mhm. Yeah,
Oh,
she thought it was linked to some, and that's the power of this technique of using the sensation, which is a right brain way to go back, rather than trying to figure it out, which could lead you to something that sort of looked like the same thing, but wasn't actually the real source of it.
Mhm.
so what do you feel in your body when you think of this experience at age 28?
Like my heart falls. Um, Almost like short of breath. I feel
Mm,
like it's tight. Something's happening here. Tightness.
yeah. So it's the same place as
Mhm.
you were feeling before.
Yeah, and shaky. I feel
Yeah.
shaky.
So I'm just doing due diligence here. I wanted to check to make sure that these are linked. They
Mhm.
should have similar sensations to be
Mhm.
linked. And the earlier one should be at least as disturbing.
Mhm.
So, did your PEF work for you in the practical?
Yes.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So, would you mind talking to me about the PEF?
Yeah. And do I tap at the same time? I'm
Mhm.
tapping. Okay.
Yeah.
So it would have been just this before COVID started. I went down to California for some EMDR training and had the chance to go on The Price is Right. To be
To do what?
The Price is Right. I was in the audience on The Price is Right.
Oh, I thought that's what you said, but I didn't believe it.
And it was with one of my good, like, best friends was with me. She'd never even seen The Price is Right because she didn't have a TV when she was a kid, but it's something that I grew up with. And
Yeah.
there's so many good memories of childhood
Uh-huh.
in that.
Yeah.
So going to that event was just remarkable.
Did you have
Uh-huh.
a funny outfit?
We had, I had somebody make up, it was with RuPaul. So we had someone make up t-shirts that we had the Canadian flag and on either side was the rainbow.
Flash. Good. So I don't remember. Do they pick contestants out of the audience, or they come pre-chosen, right?
No, they pick you.
Oh wow.
It was, so you go in, you
Flash.
write
Go
your name down on the little name tag, and we were sitting and waiting. So the waiting part was probably 3 hours long and just so much
Oh
fun.
wow.
Because we're Canadian talking to a bunch of people from all over the States, right? And so they say things really funny.
Those Americans talk funny.
Right? So I remember talking to this family about a winter hat.
Flash.
So this winter hat, what we call a toque.
Uh-huh.
And, so then we were making fun saying it's a sweater for your head. And now that's what we call it.
Flash.
Yeah.
So take a break and again, skate lightly over the top of the memory and see if you notice any change.
A little bit, so it feels like quieter.
A little quieter.
Quieter.
Okay. So go back to
Price
Price
is
is
Right.
Right. There were different, I remember there was a guy who was the moderator for the longest time.
Monty Hall.
Monty Hall.
Mon-
That might have predated you.
So it was Drew Carey.
Drew Carey. Oh, Drew Carey.
It was
Yeah.
really interesting because they kind of interview you and ask you what you do. And so this friend of mine and I are both therapists, and they sat us with this three rows of Canadians.
Flash.
Really cool. But they moved us from kind of the middle to right in front, right where Drew Carey was standing.
Oh.
And so he came out and had talked about how his partner or his ex-fiance was murdered. It was his first
God.
attack.
Flash.
Oh my God.
And
What
so
was the last thing? It was
it was his first show back. And so
oh,
it
wow.
was like her and I were sitting connecting. Like it was just a weird energy, but it was a really lovely experience that it felt like we were there for a reason.
Wow. But you didn't have Flash.
I do have Flash.
But they had
Flash.
empathy.
Yeah,
Flash.
yes.
That's right. You got all this warm support from the
It was
front of the
lovely.
audience.
I can still feel it.
Oh, wow.
Flash.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a memorable experience, huh? Going on.
Yeah, it was lovely.
Right.
Yeah. We didn't
He
get
had a
called
kind
on.
of-
It was still
What's
fun.
that?
We didn't get called up, but it was still like
Yeah.
the best times of my life.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Flash.
Yeah.
He had like almost a crew cut, right? Just
Mhm.
his hair
Mhm.
was just about an inch
Yeah.
long, and
Yeah.
yeah. Wow.
So
Flash.
what a sort of bittersweet idea that he was coming back after his fiance was
Mhm.
murdered.
Mhm.
Murdered.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow. So take a break
Mhm.
and check in to the memory and see if you notice any change.
It's lighter,
Mm-hmm.
and it's almost like the negative belief that it was attached to it is changing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I assume it also seems a little more distant.
It's like almost foggy.
Mm.
Uh-huh. Not as crisp,
Sharp.
not
Yeah.
as sharp. Yeah, good. Okay.
That's
So-
another common response. Instead of people saying it's farther away, they say it's just harder to make out or harder to grasp.
Yeah, harder to get a hold of.
Mhm.
So back to Drew Carey. Yeah, as he got older, he got a bit of a belly, didn't he? I happen to be very sensitive to the development of bellies as men get older.
It hasn't happened to Phil, but he's afraid it
No.
might.
Yeah, that's right. I have this irrational anxiety. Flash.
Yeah. It was,
So tell me some more. So how big was the audience?
honestly, I remember thinking it would be such a big space, but it's tiny. And
Yeah.
it's not anything what I thought it would be like.
Yeah.
I thought they would be set up, but they drag out all the little games and even the wheel in between.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was
Do
way-
do they have someone who comes out before and sort of warms you up, tells you jokes, gets you
Yeah.
in a good
Yeah.
mood?
Yeah.
Flash.
And so you really clap loud when Drew Carey comes out? Is that the?
Oh, yeah. So they have like the signs of when,
Applause sign.
yeah, applause signs and, yeah. Yeah.
Flash.
What's really
Yeah.
cool is I can like go back to that. It's on YouTube, right? And so we were right in the front row.
Oh, you have the episode.
Oh,
of
you
that.
have the
Oh my
video of
gosh.
seeing yourself.
Very
So
good.
that's
Isn't
fun.
that cool?
And you can see that you haven't aged a day since then, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, Flash.
You know, Phil and I
Well,
had a
when
big argument
Wait.
about the question about whether you should choose when after he shows you that it's not behind one door.
Oh,
Should you should you stick with the door that you have, or should you choose the other door? And
Wrong game. You've got the wrong game.
you got
Oh, I
the
do?
wrong game, and we don't have an extra hour for that story, Louis. Flash. But I will acknowledge that Louis stumped me with that problem, and you people won't get to hear it. Flash.
Yeah.
So more about, oh, now I'm remembering Drew Carey's glasses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kind of black. I think they're black glasses, right?
I don't remember the glasses. I remember his so funny, his eyebrows. I remember his eyebrows.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Are they big?
Fuzzy.
Yeah.
Fuzzy
Flash.
eyebrows. Yeah, and just the people, like the people around, and more of a feeling than the
Yeah.
actual visual
Well, there must have
stuff.
been like electricity in the
Oh,
audience, just much
like-
excitement.
So much.
And how did you manage to get to be in that audience?
I just applied. I just got tickets.
Oh, you applied and they just said, okay, you can come.
Yeah.
Wow.
You have to fill out an application?
I think just apply online, and then you can either get
Wow.
guaranteed tickets at that time. I'm sure it's changed, or like waiting tickets.
Yeah.
Ones that you first come,
You
first
can be an
served.
alternate
Wow.
or a jury
we-
member.
We were guaranteed spots, so
Wow.
Yeah.
And, oh, I'm reminded of if you do you want to be a millionaire? I think was the name of the show. Do you know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
And surprisingly, it was possible to get on that show.
Huh.
I mean, basically, you applied online, and the probability was pretty good. I mean, considering that you got to go up and have the possibility of winning huge sums of money.
That's fun.
Flash. I'm trying to remember what audience I was in because I remember the applause sign so clearly.
Yeah.
Flash. So again, take a break
Okay.
and check into the memory and skate over it, see if you notice any
So-
change.
Something happened. So you mentioned the show You Want to Be a Millionaire, and it's
Yeah,
actually increased my distress.
it increased it.
Yeah, because it has something to do with it's like being smart.
Oh, I had to do with the failure.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it increased the disturbance, and is it still more disturbing now?
Than it was, yeah, last time.
Yeah. So at this point, I usually, if it's my client, I say, so what makes it as disturbing as it is?
The fact that to be on that show, you have to be brilliant.
Mm. But in terms of your memory, what makes your memory as disturbing as it is?
Because the memory has to do with someone saying that I wasn't smart.
Yeah, yeah,
So it kind of is like, okay, maybe it just kind of activated that again.
yeah. And so it's activating it again. And what do you feel in your body as it gets activated?
More tension and kind of my heart rate increasing.
Okay. And just notice that.
Okay.
And let your mind float back to an early memory. First one that comes to mind.
Okay. Okay.
That's a
That
good
one.
one.
So it's interesting because this is the one I thought it was linked to.
Oh, but it was a 2. It's not a 2 now.
Sorry, no, it was something. So the thing I thought it was linked to was grade 2. This is something in grade 10.
Grade
Grade
10.
2 is lower, but this is a grade
Yeah.
10.
Grade 10. How disturbing is this one? Well, it looks big.
Like
Mhm.
an 8, 9.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. And
That's why the disturbance at age 20 something isn't resolving, because
Mhm.
it's really being given its
because there's an
energy
earlier one.
from the earlier one.
Yeah, yeah. And since I do Flash and EMDR,
Mhm.
at this point, normally I might launch into EMDR phase 4 because the target is pretty crisp
Mhm.
and seems like you're more focused on what's disturbing about it.
Mhm.
But since we're doing this workshop in Flash, we're going to do another round of Flash.
Okay. Which one do I think about now? Or which one am I?
It's always the earlier one. When we find an earlier one that's a feeder, that becomes the target.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So why do I want to do EMDR right now? I want to do EMDR because you're having a lot of somatic responses.
This is me. This is normal for me.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying
Mhm.
EMDR is really good for
Yeah.
this kind of a somatic reaction.
Mhm.
And I think I'm going to just go ahead and do EMDR. Am I your whole screen?
No. I can see myself.
Yeah, you just pinned me, so I'm the whole screen.
Upper right-hand corner, little green, little blue thing, 3 dots, and then pin.
You know, people are always asking, well, why don't you just do Flash all the time and never do EMDR? This is a good example.
Okay.
So,
Do I have to do the eye movement? Can I do the tapping because I get migraines, so the eye movements.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't want you to get migraine.
And so typically when I just, are you okay if I rock back and forth instead of tap? That's what I do.
It works for you, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, go ahead.
Okay. Actually, I'm gonna tap.
You can tap with your
You can do
feet.
both.
Well,
I'm
go
gonna
ahead and rock and tap with your feet.
Okay.
Boy, I'm so used to eye movements, it's very hard to adjust.
Yeah.
Because I can't, that's better if I can see the bilateral stimulation. So stop for a moment and what is the worst piece of this memory from 10th grade? Is it 10 years old or 10th grade?
10th grade, so I would have been about
10th grade.
14.
Yeah,
15.
yeah, 14,
So
15.
moving to a new school, the teacher used my work as a sample, put it on an overhead. Now I'm aging myself. And all I saw was red marks. So all these mistakes.
Mm.
So the work was good. It was, but
You
the
you
red
felt
marks.
exposed.
Yes. And like just humiliated.
Yeah.
Remember
Right.
him saying, we're looking at the work, not the red marks. Ignore the red.
Yeah, like I'm showing you all the worst parts of your work, but don't pay any attention.
Yeah. So he used, but what's confusing is that the content is what he was showing as an example. So the way it was written was good, but it was
Yeah.
overshadowed by all the bad.
Yeah. So just now you got emotional again.
Yeah.
And what do you think of?
Like, how could someone, I'm angry that someone would do.
Oh, okay. You're angry that he would expose you, humiliate you in front of the whole class.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so have you got a towel handy?
I have a sweater. Will that work?
Yeah, I don't know. Can you twist it and not destroy it?
Yeah.
Got to have your hands pretty close together.
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to twist as hard as you can, and then
Tap your feet.
tap with your feet.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Twist. Just notice. That's right. Just notice. Just notice what's coming up. Just notice. That's right. Twist as hard as you can. That's good. Just notice. Just notice. That's right. That's good. Good. Just notice. That's right. So now blanket out and take a deep breath. Tell me what you're noticing now.
It's everything's that I notice is in my body. So I noticed in me at first lots and lots of tension, like throughout.
Yeah, but what about now?
Oh, now it's like I could only feel the tension in my arms. It just went away, and I could feel this.
Yeah, and
But
what about the anger? Yeah, what about the anger?
It's more like it's not anger. It's more that was about him, not about me.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Okay. So how disturbing is the memory now?
I'd say maybe a 2.
And what makes it as much as a 2?
It's funny because I felt I was at a new school and no one knew me.
Yeah.
That's what I was afraid I'd be known for.
You were afraid you'd be
known as the one that made the mistakes, right? Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that brings up some more emotion.
Yeah.
And so just tap and focus on that. And just notice. That's right. Just notice. That's right. That's good. That's right. Just notice. That's right. Good. Just notice. Great. So blanket out and take a deep breath. What are you noticing now?
That I was known for a lot of other things, but not that. And it didn't change what I became. It actually made me work harder.
So how disturbing is the memory now?
There's nothing.
Okay. Well, what would you say the positive statement is about yourself that you would take away from this?
That I'm not what I felt in that moment. It has nothing to do with my ability or my intelligence, that I can do whatever I want to do.
So
I'm-
I like to take a generic positive when there's a
So-
lot of negatives. So the generic positive is I'm okay.
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm good enough. I'm okay. Yeah.
Good.
Mhm.
So I want you to think of the memory and that statement, I'm
Mhm.
okay. And how true does that statement feel right now on a scale of 1 to 7? 7's completely true and 1 is completely false.
7.
7. Okay. So just think of that statement.
Mhm.
I'm okay. Think of the memory and just tap. Good. And what are you noticing now?
Just like soft. My body's soft. It feels lighter.
Soft.
Yeah.
Good. And we had 2 other memories that we started with. We had the 21-year-old, 22-year-old,
28. So
28.
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
we had the very recent. So how disturbing are they?
None. So the 28-year-old has nothing to do with me. It had to do with that person
Mhm. Yeah.
as well. Trying to, humiliate, but it doesn't impact.
Uh-huh.
And-
And then we had a recent ongoing repeating
Yeah.
event.
yeah. That I'm capable.
That's what?
That I'm capable of doing
I'm
this.
capable.
Yeah.
Yes, but how disturbing is that
Oh,
one now?
that's a 0 too.
Good.
Terrific.
Great. Well, it wasn't exactly a demonstration of Flash, but in a way it was, because people are always asking, when would you do EMDR? And it's a nice demonstration of how feeders are really essential
Right.
to getting things resolved, and how they resolve.
So the towel thing, I've never seen that.
Oh, it's almost automatic when anger comes up.
Mm.
Anger can stop processing from happening, because when a person's angry, they're focused outside themselves on someone else.
Yeah.
And while they're focused outside themselves, then they don't do that internal processing that needs to happen. So as soon as anger comes up, I have people roll up a towel. Working remotely, it's a piece of cake because the towel's always
Yeah.
and I have them twist. And usually it's just, with you, it was just one set. Usually it's 1 or 2 sets. And sometimes people say, oh, I'm furious. I'll never stop being furious. And then after 2 sets with the towel, it's gone.
That's wild.
Yeah.
And anger is a secondary emotion in a certain sense. There's
Right.
there's hurt or shame
Or helplessness.
helplessness, very often helplessness, and then, thanks a lot. That was a wonderful demonstration.
Thank you.
That's a good demonstration.
And really important, because we'll be talking a little bit more, but it was a basic demonstration of float back and the way that you have to get back to what really, where the memory really comes from, or you won't get a complete resolution. I mean, you were better, but you don't get a complete resolution. It's liable to pop up again.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So this one you don't do like with EMDR, you do that future template. Right, so this one,
Well, it wouldn't hurt to do a future template,
that's what
but
I'm like, I can't wait to do that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, because you have a lot of, you've really taken care of the causes, and the future template will be easy to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do that.
well, if you think about it right now, if you think about, say, something coming up with this person that's giving you a hard time.
Yeah, it's not the person, it's myself.
Oh.
It's like a blocking belief and
Mhm.
things that I have to do that I've been avoiding,
Uh-huh.
right? Writing my
Anyway, I would think it would be relatively easy with that
Yeah.
the old
Yeah.
stuff out of the way. Yeah.
yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.